All right, legends, how's everybody doing? Let's analyze the situation here for the price of Bitcoin, which is absolutely exploding. It just continues to the upside, legends. Make sure to destroy the like button. We'll be doing some altcoin hunting because we need to be realistic here, guys. It is Q4. It is the season. It is the part of the 4-year cycle theory that we've been waiting for years and years and years, guys. And this has to be it, right? This has to be it. Anyway, let's analyze the situation here all together. Make sure to absolutely destroy that like button, guys, on the way in, okay? And I'll go through the comment section, say hello to the beautiful community, okay? Make sure to smash it up, okay, to new all-time highs, and we will go through the price of Bitcoin because we're just moving up, guys. A lot of people, saying that we're just broken all of the resistance levels, right? We broke the lower high resistance trend line. We are breaking above, supposedly, the value area high. Just about, guys, right? We are just about breaking above the value area high here. So, yeah, I mean, this is it, guys, right? This is the leg up to all-time high. We're going to be discussing a few things, right? The 7/8 Fibonacci area is like, the ultimate last zone, right? Lots of people are expecting a pullback. Let's go right away through the poll here because, in October for Bitcoin, new all-time highs, big pullback before all-time high. It's a bit of a 50-50 here, guys. A little bit of a 50-50. There is a bearish case scenario, of course. I am interested in shorts. I missed out on swing long in this momentum to the upside. I have to be totally honest here, guys. Missed out on the swing long. Did not short because we were just breaking levels. Volume was increasing and shorts become a little bit dangerous. But if we need to reject before hitting all-time high, it literally needs to be hit in this area. And I can see already some people in the comment section saying, somebody was saying here that I'm building up a short position. I'm already in a short. Somebody was saying, entering a short right now. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Entering short right now, building a short. Holy smokes, guys. It's very much real. We got the Bybit bros that were actually entering shorts on the rejection here from the weekly double top, which, for me is kind of acceptable for a short here. We got the pullback. You need to be defensive. We broke back up again. And there is significant shorts entering the market, guys. Surprisingly enough, people are not bullish enough. And it's, people are skeptical. It is the zone to be skeptical. That is without a doubt, okay? After the momentum and the volume is technically still is decreasing right now, which is what you want to see. It is what you want to see for a topping formation, regardless of how many highs you create here, okay? It is what you want to see. The breakout that we had on Wednesday was with increased amount of volume. That means that continuation to the upside was expected and there was no shorts to be taken eventually, right? And just breaking resistance levels. If we break up with increased volume, we go higher. And as we are creating this choppiness right now with decreasing volume, it is the moment, to really realize that, yeah, a rollover is definitely possible. So we'll be discussing a bit of the scenarios. We're going to be taking a look at some altcoins, guys. This is the moment of the cycle, right? Where, lots of people have been waiting for, right? Lots of altcoins have got absolutely obliterated, right? They've gone down the toilet, right? Some of them have done pretty well. If you've been holding, of course, some of the big ones, such as Ethereum, 𝗖𝗍, Chainlink, Bitcoin eventually, you've been doing pretty okay. But if you have been holding, some of these degen, different altcoins, AI, these different niches that are very volatile and very new, you could have got a little bit hurt depending on where you bought them, okay? I got hurt on a few of the OG cryptos where I am putting a lot of faith in, as you do know, which is going to be the altcoin that potentially makes me, the most amount of gains is ICP. I'm putting my full faith on this one just because it's an L1. It's, I love the chart where it is right now. and L1s should be getting a bit of love at some point if this is the Q4 of the 4-year cycle theory, the banana zone. You know, I need to allocate some capital into some of this, right? Just to take the shot. Now, there are some niches, of course, that suddenly pop out of nowhere. Now, privacy tokens are getting some love right now. Dash is up, you know, over 50% in the last 2 days. Zcash, holy smokes, this is up 150% in the last few days. I think, you know, privacy cryptos are, you know, eventually Monero being the leading one, they're definitely going to get some love, guys. Well, we are seeing this, that they are getting some love. So we are starting to see these OG niches. Privacy, I think, is very, very important, right, worldwide. And privacy coins are actually getting the pop in the last few days here, entering into Q4, right? So yeah, very interesting stage, guys. This is actually the moment where everything really needs to start kicking off. However, you know, somebody said in the comment section here on the higher time frame, right? We're analyzing higher time frame, guys. If you want to look for, we can zoom in later on. We can do, you know, look for intraday local scalping setups. Today, 𝗬𝗏 provided a nice little long setup here, okay? Which was this. It looked very corrective. We were having bullish CVD divergence. You got a 3-wave structure. You got a movement up here, hitting the 0.88 Fibonacci from this pivot high to the pivot low, which is rare for a multiple 1-2, right? All of this does look very corrective. And obviously the trend breakout also was the strategy that, you know, we were looking, well, 𝗬𝗏 was looking at today in the Legends Pro community, just to give a little bit of action here, based on, there's no swing longs to be taken up here, okay? There's no swing longs. If we are longing the trend, you want to take profit at the highs, literally, okay? And, you know, shout out to 𝗬𝗏 because, you know, he was talking about the long setup, okay, today based on this price action. This was a confirmation that this is likely corrective, and we're just about to take out the highs. And, you know, you need a scalp long here. This is an interesting zone to look for swing shorts. Managing risk very, very well. Risking 1% stop loss at all-time high, for example, right? Just in case we break down to 114, 110K, which we are building some liquidity, okay? This would be a swinging short zone just to speculate on the rejection, especially if you are holding significant spot Bitcoin, such as myself. You know, I like to get into short positions because I'm hedging against my spot. The most successful short position that I had was Ethereum. I missed out the Bitcoin short from all-time high here in August, but I got into the Ethereum short position that played out very, very nicely, which I almost made $100,000 on that short position on Ethereum. So one that I'm in right now on spot and leveraged is ICP based on the spring point. You know, I'm going to give full faith on this one. If, you know, if the low is in, the low has to be in this zone of the $4 range. There's no more to it. If you lose this level, then, you know, yeah, it's not going to be looking good eventually for ICP. But, you know, putting full faith on ICP based on the technicals, the project is good. L1, fully in AI. You know, this has to one that needs to lift off from the ashes in Q4. And this is the one that I'm putting, you know, full faith on. A lot of people like to, you know, buy 30, 40, 50 altcoins, you know, and try and catch one of them that does the 50x, right? Potentially in Q4. I go a little bit heavy on bigger ones, okay, such as Chainlink and Ethereum based on altcoins. And ICP, I've actually allocated a bit of capital, as you've known throughout the last few weeks here, if you've been following me, okay? So I'm the one that, you know, I'm putting full faith on ICP as the altcoin that does actually, you know, pump above $20. I have to say, you know, my target zone, first target zone is above $20. Can we manage to do that? Well, if it is going to happen, it has to happen in Q4, guys. We got no more time left, right? Bitcoin, we're looking for new all-time highs to be hit at some point, regardless if this is a flat or not, guys. Okay, you know, a lot of speculation of what if we form a flat here as well. scenario that we have been discussing today in the morning in the Legends Pro community, which is still very possible. But as long as we are uptrending and the movements down are corrective, this was very, very corrective price action, we have to say, right? Very, very corrective. There's no swing longs to be taken here. If you take a long, you're taking profit at the highs. It's just not worth it. You just need to take profit. You need to day trade this momentum, because at some point you eventually could expect a larger pullback eventually, right? So let's discuss a few things on the higher time frame. How could the price develop? I mean, this is the surprise moment where banana zone, guys, something that we have been waiting for a long time, right? When are we going to absolutely moon and skyrocket? Well, we are in that stage of the cycle, which has been the most bullish one, Q4 of the 4-year cycle theory. So expect the unexpected. Lots of people are saying that there's no way that we get to all-time high from this leg up, right? Getting such a significant leg up without a pullback, it's unlikely that we do get a lot of steam, but this is Bitcoin, right? This is Bitcoin, the last leg to the upside, right? Last leg, Q4, all-time high. Let's talk about the different scenarios. We are getting decreasing volume on the breakouts from the recent highs, which is what you want to see on a sign of exhaustion. So the signs of exhaustion based on volume are there. And the most bearish case scenario is that this is your wave X. Right over here, you got your wave W. You got your WXYXZ here for your X wave. And yes, it is possible that this can be counted as a 3-wave double zigzag. And right now here, this is still a zigzag, which is the most aggressive to create that FOMO, right? 3-wave up, create that massive hype FOMO on the first few days of October, attempting to break the value area high of this entire range, which is currently what we are trying to do right now in the last few hours. Extend possibly to the 7/8 Fibonacci, which is sitting at 120,800. This is like the max level, guys, right? This is like the max zone to really reject. And what we would be looking at, also looking at the possibility of the Y wave here to form a flat before we get to all-time high, running flat or expanding flat. There is actually, we were talking about yesterday, low probability in hitting the 107K if we get to 119.3K yesterday. But there is a flat scenario here if your wave X is this one. Okay? And this can be counted as a 3-waver. This can be counted as an aggressive 3-wave move up as well. And there is a lot of liquidity built up. The movement up has been fully powered by leverage. Okay, the markets move thanks to leverage. Okay, it doesn't move because somebody bought 1,000 Bitcoin, right? It moves highly by leverage, right? And we are seeing open interest and big leverage, of course, throughout the last week, which is creating that huge amount of liquidity to the downside. We only got just a bit of liquidity above 120K. And, that's basically it, right? So, yeah, maybe fetch that little bit of liquidity, something that we need to be very skeptical about of reaching all-time high in this leg with absolutely no pullback, which is what a lot of people are speculating in the comment section. So, flat scenario, is it possible here? Absolutely, it's still a scenario, either running flat or expanding flat that actually gets below 107K. And funny enough, we do have, liquidity a lot at 108K, right? When we do take a look at the liquidity heat map, still even below 108K here. over, hundreds of millions of dollars, right? It seems unrealistic right now that, can we get down there? Well, if the price starts getting aggressive moves down, we obviously need to give it a chance. It could be possible. The best way to identify this is not managing to go to higher levels here and get a aggressive 5-wave move down and losing, the value area high and the point of control of the range. That would be eventually a clear sign that, holy smokes, guys, maybe we do actually go to lower levels in the next 1 to 2 weeks, right? If we go to all-time high, I would just be ready, guys, to start, taking profits on regarding spot. I am ready to sell at least 10% if we hit all-time high. I would be very, very skeptical on reaching all-time high here on this structure, because it's either going to be a 1-2, 1, if you reach all-time high, maybe a 1-2, this is corrective, and then we break out in a third wave, right? If we were to hit all-time high and, start moving down correctively, we got the point of control, boom, 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 and then it's just moon mission, guys. A multiple 1-2 here is on the cards. Also a larger flat, because this is a zigzag down. This would still be a zigzag up. You need to give the possibility of that flat. You claim all-time highs here, right? It just absolutely moons, pumps a few more $1,000s to get above all-time high. The worst case scenario is forming that flat and this would be bullish, guys. This would only be pretty bullish, because what you would be doing here, if you were to hit all-time high, just let's imagine that we hit all-time high. You're making all-time highs in a 3-wave structure. And there's nothing more bullish about this. Yes, you would get a pretty sharp move down to obviously create that panic movement. And I think as Bitcoin is getting institutional attention, right, bigger players in the game, they can move the price easily 10-20%, guys. This is like a baby game for them, right? The big traders that are trading the stock market, which is over $100 trillion market, they come to Bitcoin, which is a 2 trillion one. Yeah, this is going to be easy, right? This is going to be a baby game for them. So, they can really make big volatile moves on a $2 trillion asset, right? If they're trading $100 trillion assets, such as the, stock market, right? The big players. So it would only be extremely bullish, guys. This would be the biggest bullish thing, which I would expect Bitcoin to create insane all-time highs if it were to form a flat. You're forming a zigzag down, okay? Zigzag up. If it were to reject like this, and it would be a spooky move and an impulse, but that's what you get in an ABC flat, just to sweep here below this $107,000. This would be the most bullish thing that could happen for Bitcoin to get an insane rally. It would be a complete reset. And, this is like super cycle, almost, correction. It would just be very, very bullish for a reset, just to go to much higher levels. And, I would obviously sell a bit of Bitcoin here, but I would be very, very confident in this scenario. Anyway, we might not get to all-time high. We might not get to all-time high, and we might just continue the WXY possibility here, okay? We're hitting value area high, crucial zone, right? Would be nice actually to hit the 236 Fibonacci, which is the common target. Oof, we just hit the 236 here, guys. We just did hit, I was going to say 236 Fibonacci on the possible A wave, B wave, flat targets, most commonly 236 to the 382. We just need to be, we need to realize that this is very much a possibility, right? It is a possibility. Rejection zone, and, create that 5-wave move down, either a running flat that does not claim the lows or actually claims the lows here. This would catch a lot of people as surprise. This is just technical analysis, guys. It's Fibonacci, it's Elliott wave theory. It's just looking at the possibilities here, and understanding that we do have liquidity in this area, significant liquidity. Okay, liquidity is there, guys, right? We cannot deny that. We cannot make it up, right? The liquidity is without a doubt there. And we need to go with the technicals, the Fibonacci, value area high of the entire range of the last few months, different projections. This can be counted as a three-waver. The fact that we've extended so quick to create that hype, right, at the first few days of October, it just brings you the scenario here of, what if? So anyway, let's go right away through the comment section. Say hello to the beautiful community. We can go into the lower time frames and say hello. Something good, guys. If you want a little bit of education right there, is that volume is decreasing. We got the highest amount of volume in this zone yesterday, and volume is decreasing as we're breaking the highs, which eventually you are expecting some kind of a pullback when that does happen. And when you do count Elliott wave theory on the lower time frame, well, that's when you come here and you come and get 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 4 5 4 5, just stretching its legs here. The biggest amount of volume here, which has to be labeled as your wave 3. Same scenario here, biggest amount of volume, wave 3. One more leg to the upside, correction. One more leg to the upside, you got a few 1 2s here, then eventually you want the same amount of 1 2s, 4 5s. Decreasing volume, it is a full recipe, of course, to get some kind of a pullback, right? Full recipe to get that pullback, overextended and volume decreasing, right? Just when we take a look at the overall general perspective here. Let's go through comment section and say hello to the absolute legends. And let me know, guys, if we do get to 500 likes, we're going to do a giveaway. Let's do 500 likes and we'll do a giveaway of $500. Let's double check here how many likes we do have. We got over 600 people watching. And yeah, we'll go right away through the comment section and say hello to the absolute legends here. Okay. Thomas, target new all-time high, 119K was the last price where it could reject, but it just keeps going. It's not the last price where it can get rejected. Okay, it definitely is not. As explained here, the most bearish case scenario would be considering that instead of this being WX here, and you form your Y wave, okay, which you have a zigzag down, a zigzag up, then yes, a triangle is definitely possible here. A flat here is definitely possible. But if you move your X wave to this price action, then you have the potential flat just because it can be countered. And, it's a very interesting scenario that, you can move around eventually on the different waves. And a flat here is technically possible. It is obviously technically possible when we take a look at Elliott wave theory. So interesting. It's just some, people saying, somebody said here in the comment section, it's the last level. 119K was the last level. It definitely is not the last level. This can stretch its legs here with the 4 5s. You got your biggest amount of volume. This can be an ABC. It can be a 3-wave structure. Okay. And C waves eventually finish with the highest amount of volume. So you got your A wave with okay volume, right? You got your your correction, which happened here throughout Tuesday. And then the highest amount of volume in your C wave, which is inside of the 3rd wave of the C wave. And then you get your 4 and 5s, which are decreasing in volume. It's going to be very interesting, that's for sure. It's going to be very interesting. I mean, it's kind of worth getting into a small position here, guys. It's as a swing trade. Stop loss, 123K. if this does play out, and that's mainly for people that are holding, significant spot Bitcoin, give or take a bit of room, because it actually can stretch its legs to, the 7/8 Fibonacci, just, to also form that 𝗞𝗏𝘆 pattern, right? Which would be, you have the 𝗞𝗏𝘆 pattern as well, which is, 𝗞𝗏𝘆 harmonics and Elliott wave theory, bond together, as explained also, throughout yesterday. 618 Fibonacci, bang, point, almost the 0.88 here, Fibonacci. And then the 78%, which is, 𝗞𝗏𝘆 rejection zone. You can barely miss it. You got 𝗞𝗏𝘆. You got, it's very, very technical. This is a technical rejection point. It's a technical rejection point. You can use harmonics. You can use the value area high, which is, you can fake out on value area highs and lows. You got the, Elliott wave theory, zigzag down, zigzag up. The 5-wave WXYXZ to form your X wave, and here a flat. There's a lot of technical reasons to understand that this is actually a rejection point, especially on how we have moved up from here, right? Yesterday, it's not interesting to look for shorts, because we exploded out with high volume. I realize with experience, we're breaking out the point of control of this area. I'm not getting into any shorts here, guys. You're breaking out, so you're looking for that momentum to continue. This could still be the wave 3. It could still be the wave 3 of your C wave. And what you want to see throughout the next 1 to 2 days, which is actually happening, is that exhaustion with low volume, which is what is happening right throughout all of the larger exchanges, say Coinbase, Bybit, Binance, from yesterday's move up. And obviously this would be, targeting the potential of the flat, which, would be coming down at a bare minimum on a running flat. And the 𝗞𝗏𝘆 pattern is coming to the golden pocket. I mean, this would be $113,000 based on the 𝗞𝗏𝘆, the golden pocket from wave C to wave D, and the running flat minimum target is the 0.618 from A wave and B wave, right? You want to at least speculate on the minimum target zone, right? Which, let's just reverse this, guys, because there we go. That would be about 114.5k for a running flat, and running flat, is possible. But, expanding flat would be coming all the way down to 105k. That would be surprising. That would be actually sweeping up the lows. And we have hit expanding target on the B wave, which is the, speculating here on the B wave. If we are looking for this as a flat, expanding flat potential, you do want to hit the 236 Fibonacci extension, which is currently where we tapped all the way up to the 1382. This is the zone for the expanding flat and the B wave, which has the potential of coming down eventually if this is an expanding flat. I do know that we did talk about yesterday, if we do hit 119k, but that's considering that this is the X wave in a zigzag, which is still without a doubt a possibility. And here you form a triangle, or you form a flat here also, and then you rally up. You're gonna have to go, but this is higher time frame analysis, guys, right? This is higher time frame analysis. Overall, on the lower time frame, we're moving down correctively. We're chopping, we're testing the highs. If you move down correctly, just look for higher locally, and you just wick up the highs. Anybody that's looking for longs, take them as scalps, guys. Get out at the highs. Get out at the highs, because this is no zone to build up a long position. It's really a zone to consider taking some profits. And if you're scalping eventually, right, which is a complete different strategy from swing trading, you want to take profit at the highs. You can't, Scalping here is take profit at the highs. It's just not worth the risk, right, of looking for swing longs here to hit all-time high. This is not the zone, not the zone. If anything, you want to look for the potential swing short with very good risk management. And obviously, you know, you can add to that position on a sign of weakness. Get a small position in, that's totally fine. You're basically hedging against your spot trade, right? This is bullish. The market is bullish. The most bullish case scenario is that the correction is in here, and this is your wave 1, wave 2, wave 1 and wave 2, and then, you know, you absolutely moon. So, you know, we are looking for all-time highs, whatever happens throughout the next couple of weeks. We are looking for all-time highs, you know, ever since we created this movement down. All-time high is next. Regardless if we take out the low or not, you know, all of the scenarios pointing out bullish case, boom, boom, take out the lows or not. We're looking for all-time highs, you know, whatever the price forms next here, we look for all-time highs. So yeah, let's go through the comment section. We can do a little bit of lower time frame analysis. We can take a look at some altcoins. I mean, I think I'm kind of an, you know, I don't want to be a pest. It seems like I'm promoting ICP here, but this is the one, guys, that I'm putting my full faith on altcoin this cycle, right? Because you are seeing a lot of altcoins popping out back and forward. Now we got the niche of privacy coins that are pumping out of nowhere. Zcash, Dash, you know, Monero is insane, guys. Monero is going to go to all-time high. The best privacy token that there is. All of the exchanges have taken out Monero. Most of them, right? Most of them don't like Monero because its technology is insane. It's really hard to track. It does give that privacy to the people, which Bitcoin and other blockchain projects don't give. And Monero has been proven to be the number one privacy token, which, you know, it's very hard to, you can actually trade it on many exchanges. Okay, it's on Bluffin, it is on Weeks, you can trade it, but a lot of the exchanges do not sell it, right? Why? Because obviously, you know, as it's so private and it's been extremely difficult to track Monero transactions, well, who's going to use it? Well, the people that are, you know, doing illegal activities, right? Money laundering, you know, black market, whatever. That's why most of the exchanges have gotten it out, because, you know, basically the law have said, if you're going to sell this crypto, we are shutting your exchange down, right? And they're like, okay, well, screw Monero, get it out of the exchange. But people want privacy. So, you know, I do expect Monero to do very, very well. It's just a bit hard to buy it. There are ways to buy it eventually. Monero is going to do absolutely phenomenal. And now we're getting all of these different ones in the privacy sector, which is Dash. I'm not sure if Dash is on exchanges still. But this, you know, awful bear market, did well in the bull run in 2021, you know, almost got to $500. You know, I think the privacy coins do have room eventually in this world, because Bitcoin's not private, super easy to link the exchanges, your KYCs, boom, 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 right? This guy has such amount of Bitcoin. This is your wallet. People know, right? Actually, Bitcoin and other blockchain projects are less private than actually even the, you know, traditional banking system, right? They actually can even be more open, especially nowadays with all, you know, all the regulation and KYCs, right? You know, you basically know what the heck is who's sending this and what's your wallet, right? So anyway, just an interesting topic that I wanted to point out. Of course, if you do want an exchange that just requires an email and a password, you got Weeks, guys. You got Bluffin. They got great bonuses down below. Okay, take a look at the exchanges. I know most of you already have them. Okay, Bluffin has a great deal here, 10% cashback. Okay, also with VIP 1 or 2, which decreases your fees depending on your deposit. Okay, with great bonuses, and you do get access to the VIP once you sign up with the minimum deposit, guys, where I share, you know, my possible trading setups that I'm looking for Bitcoin and Ethereum. So yeah, send me a DM down below if you are interested in that. Let's go through comment section, and then, you know, let's continue with Bitcoin. I'm going to take a look today at some comment sections to, let's take a look at some altcoins, guys, because it is without a doubt the moment to get into the pullbacks. Get into the pullbacks, or the ones that haven't pumped yet, kind of getting, guys. This is the moment that it needs to happen, regardless if Bitcoin does get that shakeout, okay? Does get that shakeout, and it would make complete sense for this to happen, guys. Just based on the projection that we had on this contracting diagonal. For, you know, my eyes bleed believing that this was the pullback, this was the low, based on the projection that we had between April and August. You know, for me to believe that this is the bullish case and we absolutely get into the banana zone from here, you know, bleeds my eyes a little bit because of timing and the projection of this pullback. It's very, very shallow, guys. It's very shallow. Over 75% of the times of an impulse, you retrace to the 382 Fibonacci. And over 75% of the times, you create a low or a high depending on the trend. And this is just probabilities, guys. It doesn't really matter, right? At the end of the day, the market can do whatever it wants. You also create a low after the 38% Fibonacci, you know, over 75% of the times. This is way back from that, you know, timing consideration and also Fibonacci retracement consideration. It's shallow. So it's uncommon. Let's say that it's uncommon, but then people would say, market makers don't care about your technical analysis. Well, it's just looking at history, guys, right? You know, technical analysis is purely based on history and purely based on probabilities, right? You come to the conclusion of how likely it is that this happens. Well, how many times has this happened, right? In the past, out of 1,000. Oh, it only happened 10 times out of 1,000. Well, you know, that's very rare. So, you know, but it can happen eventually, right? So it's all about probabilities, and this is, you know, the beauty of, you know, mixing, you know, Fibonacci and Elliott wave theory. Let's go through the comment section, and the poll is very interesting because we are getting some, obviously, you know, people saying, yeah, that this is it, this is the push, regardless of a shallow correction or not, to hit new all-time highs, which is this is great, guys. 500 votes. And we got 200 likes. That really sucks. If we get to 500 likes, guys, I'm doing a giveaway on the live. We're over 600 people watching. If we all click the like button now, we're going to get above 500 likes, and I'll do an instant giveaway of $500 to somebody in the comment section. You just need to drop your wallet, and I'll send you 500 USDT. I'm not going to say it anymore because it seems like I'm begging for likes. Hey, Andy, can you check FET and its local structure, says J-Jack. Let's do some altcoins, guys. We need to definitely take a look at some altcoins because it's the season, right? It's the season. We got Dash here, Zcash. I don't know what happened to this, but this is going absolutely banana, right? It's the season, guys. If everybody's been hurt throughout the last couple of years, 2024, you've seen, you know, your favorite influencer talking about this altcoin, AI, this, the other. And a lot of them have been created, you know, 60, 70% or 80% pullback since you bought them, right? From the AI hype in 2024. This is like the zone of get in now quick before everything pumps. You don't want to get into the pump just in case. This is like the opportunity, guys. You know, then it's going to be bear market. It's going to be recession maybe in 2026. We're going to have to be shorting the market very aggressively, right? And looking for shorting opportunities. But you want to take advantage of, you know, these banana pumps that are going to be spiking up out of nowhere. Well, you know, you have a very, very short period of time, right, to start, you know, picking your altcoins. I've picked mine. I'm going with ICP. It might not happen, guys, right? No financial advice here ever. It's just I'm giving you my opinion. And, you know, obviously, you know, what I am in, right? Let's take a look here at the super chat. Can you take a look at 𝗏 here, J-Jack? Much love to you, brother. Let's take a look at 𝗏. That's 𝗏ci AI or something like that, isn't it? Artificial super intelligence. Oh, yeah, this actually is... Oh, it looks very... Oh, my goodness. Yeah, this is the kind of chart that you want to pop out here. This looks insanely good. Insanely good. Insanely good for a rally, at least to take out these local highs on 𝗏ci AI, potentially in the next coming weeks, okay? This already, guys, without doing the TA, very highly likely that we take out this high over here at a bare minimum, and hopefully it's going to be a pretty nice pop. But the first target to hit eventually is this lower high, because I can already see it without, you know, pulling out the you know, the Fibonacci and the levels and everything, that this movement up looks pretty impulsive, and this movement down looks very wedgy, right? Very wedgy and corrective. So you do expect this one, which is currently at golden pocket or so, right? You know, to maintain this zone as support. So 𝗏, which is artificial super intelligence alliance. Good zone to bottom out here. Interesting for swing long, interesting for buy on spot, whatever you want. It's without a doubt the buying zone here between 50% and 7.8. The movement down, extremely corrective price action. Extremely corrective price action. Let's just analyze that movement to the downside here. Lots of overlap. So you got your first rejection move here, zigzag, bit of a flat, and another zigzag down here. Bit of a, yeah, it is a very three-wavy move. Very three-wavy. You got the bounce here to the upside. Ultimately, all together, looking very corrective. Yeah. I mean, this is primed for a pop here in this zone. You created a swing failure pattern just in the last couple of days from this recent low. Obviously, it gives you the best entry possible. Always when you're looking for a pump and a three-wave move up, your swing failure pattern from the lows here gives you your best opportunity to get in at the lowest price to then hit the highs, right? You know, I think most of the people on the channel here understand that. And yeah, I mean, just be aware of any potential moves down, right? Another move down, right? This is a double, triple bottom zone, which is literally at the 50%. Then the more conservative, but the one that I don't like very much, is the trend breakout, right? You can keep it simple here, trend breakout, which gives you that different way of getting into the long or buying on spot, right? Stop loss at this low, you targeting the highs. Doesn't give you that greater risk to reward. Even the last higher low could be a little bit risky. There's a lot of fake outs, guys, as we do know in crypto. So, you know, it's very common to get that fake out, sweep up the low and then go. So, you know, you need to give it a little bit of room on, you know, either pops out or it creates that little quick shakeout from over leveraged long positions. You just need to be aware of that situation. This is why you need to decrease the amount of capital and probably add on the sign of strength, right? If you don't get that shakeout on the breakout. So yeah, 𝗏ci AI here looks pretty damn awesome. Nice leg up here. Nice corrective structure. So yeah, let's move into Bitcoin here, because Bitcoin is just tapped 120.3k. Holy smokes, guys. You know, I actually... yeah, it is a very interesting area where we are at the moment, because you could possibly create a, you know, another 4-5 here. Let's just go on Bitcoin and just do a little bit of micro counting on Elliott wave theory, which has been provided early this morning in the Legends Pro community, where from the biggest correction that we had here on Tuesday, you got 1 2 1 2 there's either a 1 and 2 here with a flat, a running flat, or there's actually 2 more 1-2s. Because then you got the big breakout with volume, which you need to label as your wave 3. And you got your wave 3, wave 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4 and 5 here, unless you form a flat right over here and you create one more 4, 5. But it seems like, you know, you got about 4 1-2s, and you just got 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you got 4 4 5s here. So, you know, kind of getting at the limit here. Kind of getting at the limit. The problem here eventually is, instead of this, you know, this is the problem when you're counting 1-2s and 4 5s. You can have flats in the middle, and obviously you need to add another 4 and 5. So this can definitely be a running flat. And instead of this being 4 5 4 5, this is only 1 4 and 5 because you formed a flat, right? And you're like, oh well, you got one more. So yeah, it does look like it could top out here and then get a decent pullback in the next coming days. But expect the unexpected, right? Based on volume, this is where, because yesterday I was letting the legends know, guys, increasing volume breakout here, yeah, there's no chance that I'm looking for a short in this area, and we're very likely going to continue the momentum to the upside easily for, you know, the next 24 hours. Easy, right? Especially when you form this multiple 1-2s, big breakout with higher amount of volume, higher than this one. Oh yeah, this is going to continue up. This is likely going to continue up. But now is the moment of, you know, you're breaking up here with less volume. I mean, depending on what exchange you take a look at, but still, let's go to the 1 hourly time frame. Yeah, I mean, yeah, technically here. Let's just go on Binance, for example, also. Volume is important, guys. You know, if you break up with high volume, yeah, Binance is obviously the same thing. Same thing. Decreasing volume right now, that is good. You got a volume divergence as you're creating the highs. If you have no volume divergence and you're increasing in volume on the breakout, expect higher. But as you break up the highs with decreasing volume, you need to really count the 1-2s here. We've got a few 4-5s getting developed. Decreasing volume, that's the moment where you understand that some kind of a pullback is very, very likely, right? 1, 2, 3, high amount of volume, 4 and 5. Pullback, you know, expected here. It is a very, very topping kind of price action. But if you do get Bybit bros shorting the market, as we can see here on the CVD, CVD is important, or order flow, it doesn't really matter. I kind of, you know, read it the same way. This movement down that we had today, holy smokes, if you look at Bybit on the CVD, insane bullish CVD divergence here created. Massive lower lows. And even on the, you know, other exchanges, Bybit, US dollar tether, also lower lows on CVD, higher lows on price action, lots of shorts entering the market. When you do take a look at the order flow, you do not want to see that. 32 million shorts here at the top. Yeah, it's like, yeah, you guys think, right, that you're smart. You don't want to see too many shorts at the highs. You actually want to see longs. And this recent long that we had, just to create, you know, trap longs. We are seeing some longs in the latest couple of hours here, looking at the order flow. You got 12 million here in this candle, 4.6 open interest. There's longs entering at the highs. That is good. You want to trap longs here. You don't want to trap shorts. You know, if you get shorts entering the market up here, well, market makers are still going to gobble up that liquidity. You are creating liquidity up, so it just gives you a stronger trend to continue. So yeah, I mean, you want to see longs. You want to see, you know, 20, 30 million longs at the highs and then get the pullback. we are starting to see a bit of longs entering here at the highs, at least on Bybit in the last 1 to 2 hours. And that's what you want to see, right? Because it creates that liquidity to the downside to get that pullback. Anyway, let's go through the comment section and say hello. Oh, you talked about Flux. Please take a look at Flux. Let's take a look at Flux. Why not? Yeah, interesting where this is. Interesting where this is. Holy smokes. Lost completely. I mean, this could be the higher time frame spring point when we consider 𝗖𝗍𝗃 accumulation. Right? You form a range, test the highs, test the lows. You're squeezing in here in a wedge. You know, then you suddenly out of nowhere get that pop. So this is like going to the casino, guys. let's leave it that way. But if you are interested in buying low on a project, you know, it does look a little bit of a descending triangle, and descending triangles are not the best, right? You would hope for this one to actually get the pop, but I think Flux, I don't follow the project. You know, I'm not following a lot of the many altcoin projects, guys, but it is a bit of a descending triangle situation here. I have no idea what this is doing, but if you want to buy cheap, then eventually, you know, it can't get any more cheap than this. This has been trading at this zone for over, you know, 3-4 months now. And if this has to do anything, it has to do it in this Q4. If this has to, you know, get out of the ashes, right? Rise from the ashes. The opportunity is in these next couple of months that it needs to break out. So if you want to buy before that potential pump, you know, no financial advisor here, guys. You know, it's really giving the chance to make some capital, right? I went in on Chainlink throughout the last couple of years. You know that these different altcoins regarding the chart, yeah, it's a good zone to buy. Chainlink for me, bring it on. Chainlink's only over a 4x from my average buying zone, but I'm in the green big time. You know, I'm in big profits on Chainlink. Because the whole idea is I want to buy something that is going to give me, you know, not too greedy. If it can do a 10x, then absolutely great, right, in the next few years. But buying zone on Chainlink was pretty damn obvious in this area. And I haven't been too aggressive buying altcoins except for ICP. So, yeah, the Ethereum, Chainlink, you know, these get into real big strong projects that you do know it's going to give you a return. It's not going to give you a 50x, but it is going to give you, you know, a few x's, right, throughout the next coming years. And obviously that's where I placed a significant amount of my capital into Chainlink in this zone. If you're a legit follower of the channel, you know that we were talking about Chainlink, I don't know, every single day in this area, guys. It was pretty damn boring. Just giving a reminder, guys. Yeah, I'm buying a bit more Chainlink here, which is eventually paying off after a couple of years, right? So all of these different altcoins, we know that 99% of altcoins, depending on the project, right? It's like throwing a dart, right? With closed eyes, you know, will it do well or not? We don't know. But if you want to buy cheap on Flux, I haven't followed up Flux eventually. Based on the project, you know, the best zone is this area, right? If you want a shot, your shot is here. Don't buy on the pumps. Don't buy on the pumps. You're going to get hurt. If you want to buy low to give it a shot. So yeah, I can't give you any more on this, right? Based on the altcoin. Yeah, I'm not sure. We ain't going to do like TA on this. We're just going to move forward. It is a bit steep here. It is a bit steep for the pullback, but I mean, this movement up does look pretty interesting, and this does look quite corrective. Got movement down, a bit wedgy here. Take that with a pinch of salt. Take it with a pinch of salt. Official Trump coin. What do you think about Quant? QNT. What do I think about Quant? Yeah, QNT. This is an OG crypto. I think this one was like, I think this is like from the big players. A lot of, you know, this has big VCs in my understanding. QNT. A lot of VCs are, you know, invested in this. I can't remember actually from this one. I remember taking a look at this one maybe about a year ago or so. The insurance money. I think there's big VCs invested in this one. Not sure if BlackRock has to do anything to do with this one also. A real world asset. Yeah, I can't remember, guys. There's just so many that you do take a look at. Yeah, real world asset crypto, and there is big investors behind this one. So this one on the chart doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look too shabby. It actually looks pretty good. You got a sweep of the highs after this rally. Correction, sweep of the highs, come back down to the lows. Could be a running flat situation. You are breaking the downtrend momentum. So the pullback on this one, you are breaking this downtrend structure with this leg up, which is possibly forming a it's a little bit overextended right now. If it does get a pullback at some stage, I mean, this is the thing, right? We are at that moment where you're looking for a pullback, guys, and you might not get it. You might not get it, right? We were talking about the several examples on ICP yesterday where we're breaking trend. Let's wait for a pullback to jump in, right? Sometimes you're just not going to get the pullback. Especially in this season. But you want to buy low. You don't want to buy, on the breakout when it's pumped 50% already. Ideally, right? Everybody take action on your investments. I like to buy when it's at floor level lows, and no matter how long it takes to recover, it doesn't really matter for me. But this is, spring point for ICP was the best option at the lows here. So, and then, when it rallies, you might not just get the pullback. You might not get it. So, I think ICP, if it wants to start kicking off here in the next coming weeks, it's probably just going to go. It's probably just going to go. And, because we're waiting for pullbacks, right? I'll get into the retracement because we've broken trend, right? To get into the next leg up. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes it doesn't happen, especially when we are running out of time in this Q4 season and everything's just going to skyrocket, right? Take it with a grain of salt, guys. Be careful buying the pumps, okay? Bitcoin is at a critical point. The fact that we pumped in the first 2 days of October, it is dangerous. You don't want this massive pump to create that FOMO. 5% pump, guys, in 2 days. 6% pump in just 2 days, initiating October, which eventually a lot of people will know by its seasonality, right? That October is insanely bullish. So be cautious because there is a technical reason of rejecting in this zone. If there is a technical reason, we know that all-time high is likely going to be hit, guys. We've been talking about this for many weeks right now. That is the highest probability for Bitcoin to reach all-time high. And we obviously need to consider the local bearish scenarios, right? Take them into consideration. Let's go through the comment section. Say hello to the beautiful legends that are popping in here. Where are my mods? It is actually a bit late here. My mods have quit. They've gone. It's a little bit of a late live stream. I started my short Good job. Make sure to manage risk as always, right? You don't need to go too crazy. You can always add to the short position on a sign of weakness, right? You can always start, you know, add it. You can always add to that short position on the sign of weakness, and the sign of weakness will be relatively clear. Relatively clear. You know, nothing is clear in trading. If not, you know, everybody would be making millions every single day. But you want to see a big breakdown. You want to see a big, impulsive, aggressive move down, and, you know, possible quick choppy bounce. If you're in a small short position already at this zone, there is always the chance of adding to that short on the sign of weakness, which will break down a few $1,000s, but then the choppy bounce, you are expecting at least another leg down to form that three-wave structure. So it might be corrective and it moves up. It might be impulsive, and eventually, if it is impulsive, we would be expecting much lower prices to speculate on that flat structure. Okay, so yeah, let's go through the comment section and say hello to the rest of the people. We got Baby G here. Much love. Comments are such a great way to sample the market for retail. Yeah, we bounced from the 119.3. Beautiful. Granted, momentum has pushed us through. Yeah, lower time frame here. Interesting take, guys. This is not a zone to look for swing longs. If you're longing the pullbacks, get out at the highs. This is no zone, not the greatest zone to get into longs as swing trades. It's a zone to speculate on double, triple tops. It is also a zone to speculate on the swing short idea that could bring us down to 115k area, and, you know, maybe even lower on the worst case scenario of the flat, right? But ultimately, what other bullish scenarios are there? Because, you know, we are counting this as a possible three-wave move, right? We're just looking at the bearish case, but hey, you know, this is very bullish. So as we have the increasing amount of volume here in this move, if you have a possible three-wave move to the upside, well, you still have that 4 and 5 potential, right? There is still that 4 and 5 potential. I mean, this would have to be the 1-2, because this is still part of the third wave. So you have the fourth wave potential here, which, if it's going to be very choppy and corrective, and we form a bit of a wedgie structure after this pullback, this might actually create a lot of short positions, right? We're going to try and detect this on the higher time frame, because there's eventually still the possibility of that fourth wave, just because we need to label possibly all of this as the third wave, and this might cascade a huge amount of shorts, right, where you're forming a rejection and you're actually chopping here in a fourth wave. Fourth waves are usually the longest waves, okay, based on ranges and timing, and maybe this creates a huge amount of liquidity once it starts rejecting and you got people shorting the market. It will be fun to see the liquidity as we move down, or it might create more liquidity to the downside, because people will have the idea of buy the dips, right? And if there's either two scenarios here, you form the wave 4 and you create that high, you know, will depend on the movement and how much liquidity. If you get lots of limit longs entering here and lots of shorts entering the market, creates that liquidity to the upside. Very choppy, very corrective, kind of a bullish pennant. You break up. You know, it's going to be a moment of identifying if this is corrective or not. Or the other scenario where you're going to get buy every single dip, right? Buy the dip, guys, because this is mooning and we're going to go to all-time high. And eventually you create more long liquidations as people are buying the dip, till it actually just, you know, creates that, you know, cascade eventually in third wave, right? 4 and 5. to form that larger flat. It's going to be an interesting few days. That's no doubt. Anybody that wants to be a top or a bottom catcher, you know, this is literally the zone that you want to speculate to take that short. So on the higher time frame, right? Let's go through the comment section and say hello. We've got Tom Crown in the comment section. Shout out to you, brother. Let's go. We've got Tom Crown here. Shout out to you, my man. Anybody that doesn't know who Tom Crown is, he's an absolute legend. He's like he's the guy to go to when there's, you know, FOMC press conference, or there's any good news coming out, mainly from, you know, Jerome Powell. He's the guy to go, guys. All right. Anybody that doesn't know who he is, make sure to go and check him out. Shout out to you, Tom Crown. Got great educational videos on trading and technical analysis as well. And he does the most epic live streams when we have the FOMC meeting, okay? Make sure to go and check out and subscribe to the channel, to Tom Crown, if you haven't already. Shout out to you, brother. Who else do we have here? I could see CBM. CBM's here also. Shout out to CBM. Crypto by Mattia. CBM also. We got the legends here joining the live stream. Shout out to CBM as well, guys. If you don't know who he is, make sure to subscribe. Also, great content creator here based on, you know, technical analysis, higher time frame, great news. Need to give the shout outs to the people that are joining the stream here. Shout out to 𝗬cie. Make sure to go and subscribe to 𝗬cie, the strongest moderator here. We got tennis tomorrow. Yeah, I'm playing tennis tomorrow. I'm into tennis right now, guys. And I'm playing a match against Mattia, CBM. So we got a bit of tennis tomorrow morning. 𝗞𝗆 from Brazil here. Crypto SA. Much love to you from Brazil. Chainlink. What's going on with Chainlink? Well, I'm going to keep it simple, guys. I'm super bullish on Chainlink. And what we do have on Chainlink is multiple 1-2 setup. That's what we are hyping up here. 1-2. We got another 1-2 here. Or even an ABC flat. Running flat. And we're building up 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. And it's going to pop, guys. It's going to pop like never before. I did say that I'm going to take profits here at $30, but we might get a moon mission, guys. A moon mission on Chainlink could be on the horizon, building up here very, very nicely. And let's be honest, the movements down look insanely corrective. You know, how corrective does this move look? Can it look more corrective than this, guys? Choppy, overlappy, your third wave to the downside is failing to move down. There's, you know, this is a full recipe to absolutely banana, right? We are expecting these kind of movements, you know, very, very soon. And this might be even the largest one that we get so far, right, in the next coming weeks. It's a reality. It's what the chart shows us. And it just looks very, very good. Looks very, very good. If Bitcoin gets a drop, yes, it can test the lows, okay? But I would just see it as another opportunity, right? If Bitcoin does reject a few $1,000s, maybe some altcoins can hold if the Bitcoin dominance does behave. I would only look at this, the same for 𝗖𝗍𝗍𝗽. Now we've pumped, not the best zone to get in. I like to, you know, really get into the fib levels from the last pivot low to the pivot high. Golden pocket. I mean, look at this. The golden pocket it is. Golden pocket it is. Double bottom from the golden pocket. Move down 7-8. Most brutal scenario if Bitcoin were to drop down, you know, $6,000-7,000. Obviously, you would see that little shakeout, but the structure is still intact. It would just, you know, it would just extend the correction, a little bit of a shakeout before you get the move up. You know, when's the last shakeout? Was it this one? And then it moves up. Do we have one more? And it moves up. Do we have a next one later on? And then it goes up. We don't really know how many there is going to be, but there will be a moment that we won't have any, right? And it's just going to go. So obviously I'm heavily positioned on spot in the case of Chainlink, but if we're talking trading related, you know, your opportunity zone here was eventually in the last week on this movement down at the golden pocket, right? So I wouldn't go in here eventually. It's like silly to get into the pumps. It's like looking at this movement down here and say, oh, we're breaking out. Well, I'll enter along here. Well, yeah, good luck with that, right? So this is like the same scenario. You know, you don't want to get in here. If you move down and test the lows, you know, just be prepared to actually get in on the double bottom. And if it breaks through, look for the 7-8. That's your reaction zone. You don't want to long when it's pumping. If you want to long the breakout of the wedge, you take that with a pinch of salt. I'm not a fan of the breakouts. Okay, they're just very, very skeptical of them, very, very cautious, because there's a lot of fake outs. If you want to break out, you know, trade the breakout. You can see this on any you know, any different basic technical analysis, right? A video update, you know, videos out there on YouTube. Long the breakout. Well, yeah, you decide where you put your stop, but you're targeting the highs. I'm not a fan of trend breakout. Okay, I'm not a fan, just because I know, you know, I know that you get the breakout, right? Just at like this wedge, right? This does happen. It's very real. Oh, wedge breakout, absolutely awesome. You know, let's get into the long, you know, round about here. Let's put stop loss at the low. Let's target the highs. Well, yeah, this did not play out, right? I really try and look to get into the lows. Fibonacci retracement levels are the bomb diggity, right? To get into these kind of swing longs. Let's go through comment section and continue. That like button is lagging behind, guys. Like button is lagging, so it is what it is. Much love, 𝗞𝗚cie. Look at 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽𝗍𝗍. 𝗖𝗿𝗆𝗍𝗍, Andy. It's finally chain linking. Mark Dutch, my man. Yeah, I got in pretty heavy on 𝗖𝗿𝗆𝗍. 𝗖𝗿𝗆𝗍 is, yeah, like it's creating the spring point, right? It's creating the spring point, the last opportunity zone for this to happen. If you want to buy at the cheapest, right? Could we get, I do think that it might even possibly create one more low. It might even possibly give us that one more opportunity, even though I'm fully in on this. On what I'm looking at this, it is, you know, on 𝗖𝗍𝗆𝗍, obviously taking into consideration the 3-wave structure. Okay, 𝗖𝗍𝗆𝗍, big push. It looks impulsive. Point of control at $4. 3-wave structure, and you're finishing that C wave with your last leg down, which, you know, when I'm looking at Elliott wave theory, this is how I'm labeling it. Labeling the last push down of your C wave in this 5th wave of the C wave with a very complex choppy WXY with a contracting ending diagonal, which it's the only way I can fit this in. And obviously the 5th wave of the contracting diagonal cannot be longer than your 3rd wave, which eventually it's not. You don't want it to overshoot $3.70. So, I mean, this could be the last one. It's the last push down. Last push down to create that Wyckoff spring point. And it is springing. It is springing, right, out of the point of control of the range of 2022. So far, so good. Whoever entered down there. I did give a projection. I did give an entry in the VIP last week, okay, about this swing long. This could be the swing long that, you know, makes us insane amount of gains in the next few months. So we're going to see that. We'll follow through. I am in that swing long. I did buy some more on spot, okay, in that swing long on ICP also. That was provided inside of the VIP community, okay, in that swing long position. This is a multi-monthly possible projection trade. And if you are interested in, for me giving these very, very conservative, chilled way of trading, the end idea is to make gains, not to scalp every single movement. You got the VIP down below, guys. It's super easy to access the VIP. You just need to sign up throughout one of the affiliate exchanges, which is Bluffin, Weeks, which give you insane amount of bonuses. You got an Ethereum position here, 20% deposit cashback depending on your deposit and the trading volume that you move. You're going to get that airdrop of USDT to trade with. Bluffin also with 10% cashback, or great perks here. Bluffin has the fastest, they do launch a lot of new cryptos very, very fast. So Bluffin is a great deal, okay? And you just need an email to sign up on these exchanges, and you get access to the VIP. Send me a DM with the first link, okay? Telegram community. And if you do a minimum deposit, we'll get you in the VIP eventually, right? Where we do share information and the possibility of some trading setups that we are looking for. Let's continue here through the community. Hello, Joan Kisek. How you doing, my man? Much love to you, brother. We are discussing at the beginning of this live stream that where Bitcoin is right now, with decreasing volume on the recent highs, the potential of this being a three-wave move, we are getting decreasing volume on the highs. The biggest amount of volume is in this region, which you kind of squeeze in a three-wave structure, or is it a 1, 2, 3? You get a fourth wave and you actually create a five-wave move down, guys. Then it's that's the confirmation, guys. That's it, guys. No more pullbacks. No more traps, okay? No more traps. The trap is still a reality. The trap is still a reality. You're at value area high, which you're struggling very much at, this 120K zone. Place your bets if you wish. Take that with a grain of salt, no financial advice. Value area high. Considering Elliott wave theory, we have still the possibility of this being the X wave. Y wave could be on the formation. You got the ABC flat or running flat possibility. You got the Gartley. I mean, the Gartley would be nice to actually get a little bit of a move up to the 7/8 Fibonacci harmonic. You got a bit of a harmonic right there. You need to stretch your legs a few $100. I mean, I would validate already. We're almost scratched to the 7/8. You ideally want to touch it. We just missed it by a few $100. But holy smokes, technically speaking, when we're adding harmonics, we're adding the value area high, we're adding the, WXY flat structure possibility, right? When we add the confluence and the technicals and the volume, when we are looking at this wave to the upside, holy smokes, 1, 2, 3, you got your third wave in the middle, you're decreasing in volume right now. Ooh. Holy moly. It's interesting, guys. It's interesting. And the liquidity that we have to the downside. Ooh. This is where you need to have, balls of steel, right? And just take action, which I don't have. I'm a little bit of a sissy. You can always go in, with a small amount of capital, right? This is great to hedge against your spot Bitcoin, right? This is really a zone to hedge. To hedge, really. Anyway, nobody wants a giveaway. It seems not. If we get to 500 likes, we're going to give $500, okay, guys? But it seems like, I'm not going to beg for the like button. Much love, 𝗬𝗫. Thank you very much. 𝗬𝗫𝘆, for now, it's a three-wave structure. It still needs that a 4-5. That is true. When we consider the highest amount of volume, I hate this price action. I seriously missed most of the long here. I was really considering a long on this cup and handle, just because we were having some bullish CVD divergence here also, and we got a cup and handle, right? And you're like, oh, you know, so we just jump into the long, stop loss at the, you know, at the low, and yeah, it did break out very, very nicely. But longing from down here, I completely missed out. I seriously did not like any of this price action. But then you just have to come to the conclusion that you have a series of multiple 1-2s here, because you're just moving up. So eventually, with that conclusion, you at some point have your first 1 and 2 here. Kind of all of this be your wave 3 as you have increasing volume. You always need to label the increase of volume here as your possible wave 3 still. So do we create that 4th wave here to then create the 5th wave? And that would ultimately confirm a very strong impulse to the upside, which eventually the correction will have to be the, you know, buy, right? But as Devil said, there is a good way of labeling this as a 3-wave move up still. We just tapped the 236 Fibonacci, which opens the door for an expanding flat. An expanding flat is the most aggressive flat. It's the most common flat, which actually breaks down to the 618, to the 1.618 extension, which is coming down to 105k zone. We'll leave that out of speculation. Everything seems too bullish for this to happen, right? It's too bullish. Forget about your nonsense here with expanding flats and, you know, and all of this nonsense. Price is bullish. It's October, and yeah, this is not going to happen. But you know, it will all depend on how aggressive the rejection is. If you move down aggressively here and you chop around to the upside, providing resistance at the point of control, you can very much believe that that is a scenario once you get the first rejection in an impulse and you're chopping in a bounce. Then it will become very real that you're looking for a 3rd wave down, regardless an ABC or a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It will be very real once you get the first rejection point beneath the point of control, right? And then we'll start considering, you know what, maybe the flat is very much going to happen, right? Anyway, it's late, guys. Much love to everybody. Many thanks. Steve Powell, much love to you, brother. Thanks for joining the stream and for that super chat. I'll have a beer with that this weekend, right? We'll get a pint. £5 Much love, Steve Powell. Much love to you. Have a great day. Thank you very much for the super chat. Andy, check message above from SFC. SFC, where is it? A super chat? SFC. Brother, I don't know why you're not receiving my messages on Telegram. I'm trying to join the group. Okay, make sure to join the Telegram here down below, which is join the free Telegram community, and you can find my DM right there also. Okay, join the free Telegram. You can send it. This is my direct link to the Telegram. Okay, if you want to join the VIP, you can. I'm not sure why you can't send a message. The messages are open for everybody. So, you know, the Telegram handle is there. Much love, Wes. Guys, make sure to trade safe. Be cautious. Will we get to all-time high? The poll is very interesting, where we got over 700 votes in October for Bitcoin. New all-time highs. 54% are saying yes, guys, it's happening. 46% are saying big pullback before all-time high. Interesting, guys. It is a bit of a 50-50. Interesting to see this, guys. Not everybody is very bullish. Not everybody is looking for that rejection. Smash up the like button. Much love to everybody, guys. I'm tired out. Thank you very much for joining today's stream. Okay. Be cautious. This is a zone of big resistance, of exhaustion. We've got a few scenarios as well that could be very much a possibility. Manage risk accordingly. We are looking for new all-time highs, guys, regardless for Bitcoin. It is October. It is Q4. This is a corrective move. Is this impulsive? Doesn't matter. Whatever happens, guys, all-time highs is expected. Much love. Thank you for joining. Make sure to sign up to one of those exchanges, guys. You just need an email and a password. You get great perks and bonuses, and you get access to the VIP, okay? Bluffin weeks. Bluffin, they have huge amount of altcoins. Trade safe. Much love to everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow.